Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the India-US partnership augurs well for the future of democracy. He said, the US is the oldest and India the largest democracy. He said, democracy is the culture that gives wings to thought and expression. The Prime Minister was addressing the joint session of US Congress in Washington, D.C. He said, India is blessed to have democratic values since time immemorial. The Prime Minister said, India and the US shall demonstrate that democracies matter and democracies deliver, adding that they together will give a better future to the world and a better world to the future. The Prime Minister said, we must revive multilateralism and reform multilateral institutions with better resources and representation that applies to all our global institutions of governance, especially the UN. Mr. Modi said, when the world has changed, our institutions too must change. He said, the lives of great individuals like Martin Luther King Jr. and Mahatma Gandhi have inspired both India and the United States, forging a deep connection between our nations. The Prime Minister said, it is always a great honor to address the United States Congress and it is an exceptional privilege to do so twice. He said, in the past few years, there have been many advances in AI, artificial intelligence, and at the same time, there have been even more momentous developments in another AI, that is America and India. Mr. Modi said, throughout the history, US have embraced people from around the world and there are millions in US who have roots in India. He said, some of them sit proudly in the chamber of US Congress. The Prime Minister said, last year, India celebrated 75 years of its independence. He said, every milestone is important, but this one was special. Mr. Modi said, India is the home to all faiths in the world and we celebrate all of them. Mr. Modi said, when he first visited the US as Prime Minister, India was the 10th largest economy in the world. The Prime Minister said, today in modern India, women are leading us to a better future. He highlighted that India's vision is not just of development that benefits women, it is of women-led development where women lead the journey of progress. Mr. Modi said, India's vision is pro-planet progress, pro-planet prosperity and to create pro-planet people. The Prime Minister said, this is not an era of war, but it is one of dialogue and diplomacy. He said, we all must do what we can to stop the bloodshed and human suffering. Mr. Modi said, more than 2 decades after 9/11 and more than a decade after 26/11 in Mumbai, radicalism and terrorism still remain a danger for the whole world. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Joe Biden held bilateral talks at the White House. The Prime Minister's office said, they reviewed the entire spectrum of India-USA ties and discussed ways to further deepen the partnership. MA spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said, the two leaders reviewed the various facets of India-USA ties and discussed ways to further deepen them for the peace and prosperity of people of both countries and for the global good. He said, both leaders held talks together in their determination to take the comprehensive global strategic partnership to the next level. Later in the press statements, Mr. Modi said, today holds a special significance in the history of India-US relations. He said, a new chapter has been added to the India-US Comprehensive Global Strategic Partnership. US President Joe Biden in the press statement said, together US and India are unlocking a shared future. He said, the partnership is among most consequential in world that is stronger, closer and more dynamic in any time in history. Mr. Biden said, economic relationship is also booming and trade between both countries has doubled in the past decade.